trying to do some door knocking, at least a couple of streets in every community, but it's not easy because it's so short that you feel that you quickly run out of time. And the other thing that we're seeing is how polarized the electorate is, right? That people say, it's almost as if people are voting against something and not for something.
Exactly. What has been the biggest challenge for you in your first I guess election?
Yeah, it's my first election, and I participated in other elections as a volunteer, and I think the challenge is to, with a very small team, to cover whole federal riding, and of course a very limited budget, because the Green Party is a small party, right? And then there is of course more focus in some ridings that are stronger for Green candidates, and Cardigan, it's not traditionally a riding where the Greens have done a lot. So we are doing what we can, and we are having good conversations with voters.
How has your experience been with the community?
I enjoy having this door-to-door conversations and talking with people. My problem is that sometimes you get talking with somebody, and then you spend so much time, and they say, "Well, no, you need to move to the next," and that is very challenging.
So, what's been your favorite part about the campaign so far?
My problem with my favorite part is perhaps it should be my least favorite part if I were more efficient, because I like it more campaigning in the countryside and in the small rural places, but that doesn't lend itself unless you have a big team of people who are just telling you go here, go there to talk to this voter. That doesn't lend yourself to be very efficient because of the distance.
And what has been the main concern that you've heard from people when you've been going door to door?
Oh, where do I start? Okay, first of all, the situation with the economy, the tariff, and what's going to happen. And I've been hearing of our industries. Cardigan is pretty rural, and some part has fisheries, agriculture, and people are concerned about what's going to happen, and the uncertainty of it, because one day you hear, oh, there's tariffs, the other day, oh, it's just the up and down and the uncertainty that is getting to people. We need to strengthen our internal economy, our domestic industries, and sovereignty, and diversify your trade, but everybody's saying the same, right? But the difference is that we have known for decades that we are too dependent or too interconnected with the United States, and we have not developed other things, even our internal market. Right now everybody talks, the interprovincial trade barriers, and supposedly the liberals are going to eliminate them by Canada. But we, the Greens, have had that in our platform for years.
Right.
Okay?
How do you feel about how engaged voters have been this year in this election?
I think people are more engaged, perhaps, this time in the election. It's just subjective. I'm saying this without having specific data about it, but I get the feeling that this election people are really paying attention. Some people say this is the biggest crisis or the biggest election or the biggest decision, but I don't know that because we did have an election during COVID, for example, in 2021. Yeah. So that was big too. But the engagement, the electorate are paying attention, and that is very important for democracy.
What's an example of something that you think needs to be talked about more at a federal government level?
Well, I am biased because I think that we should be talking more about agriculture and the food system, and it drives me a little bit crazy because I'm biased, when politicians, the liberals and conservatives, are saying how they're going to cut the red tape and make just one application form for a major energy development project that is going to just have all kinds of implications, massive environmental impact, possible infringing in indigenous people rights, and then you want to simplify that, and then you're a farmer that wants to apply for some programs to support and assist and environmental farm plans and advancement, and then they have to, one farmer has to do this massive amount of paperwork to get the basic policy support that the government provides to agriculture, which every single advanced country has to, because otherwise your food sovereignty will just go to... I find that the big part, the dominant parties have abandoned climate leadership because of other pressing issues, the pressing for people, the trade, the affordability prices, etc. And this is, it's not at the center of the conversation, but the climate crisis is very, very real and is affecting our industries here on the island. We have a very fragile coastline. We have industries that are very vulnerable. It's what it is, because that's not what you're hearing at the door. People are more concerned about things that are more immediate in their life, and that's perfectly understandable.
Are you planning on running again?
I don't know.
Nice.
Yeah, this is not a decision. I don't know. Who knows? Right?
Yeah, just wait and see.
Yeah, wait and see. Depends.
And what's one last thing that you want to say to just the people? Like at the end
to vote with their values. To vote out of fear. It may seem like the thing to do in the short term, but in the long term, it just perpetuates this political dissatisfaction that people have, because I think that until we have some reform to our democratic system and we adopt some form of proportional representation, some form of democratic reform, the first past the post electoral system lends itself to that. You are in a crisis, you go, oh, what's the lesser evil, what I'm the least afraid of, and that doesn't lend itself for people to voting with their values, but